Did you know your gut function has everything to do with hormone balance? Have you ever been in a bad mood and you don't know why? Are you trying to lose weight and you can't, even though you're eating healthy and sleeping right?
We're able to see your hormones and your hormone metabolites pass through the liver and all through the body through your urine.
Take the whole body into consideration.
Everybody's trying to figure out, what do I eat? What is healthy?
Aging faster.
You're collecting all the toxins, right? All the toxins we're breathing, all the toxins we're eating. So it's going to collect all of that.
Welcome to Session and Secrets. And today I'm here with my guest, Kristi Acuña. Hi, Kristi.
Hi, Luisa. Thank you so much for having me.
And so tell me, Kristi, how do you help people? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh, how long do we have? So again, my name is Kristi Acuña. I'm a holistic nutritionist. I practice here in Newport Beach, and I've been doing this over 20 years. I've been in my own practice it'll be 17 years this December. And what we do is we find the root cause of what's causing people's symptoms to happen. So we do not look at the body. So if someone comes in and says, I'm having thyroid issues, we don't only focus on the thyroid. We look at the body as a whole. So we're really looking to find the root cause and what's causing those symptoms to happen. And we do that through nutrition response testing, which is a non-invasive way in finding out the root cause, as well as labs. And our labs are different. We're looking at labs through urine, saliva, and blood and stool. So we're able to see your hormones and your hormone metabolites pass through the liver and all through the body through your urine. And this is something that traditional Western medicine does not do. So we really pride ourselves on our techniques and our tools to really get to the root cause. From there, we create specialized nutritional programs built for individual needs. So everyone's program is very unique. We could have two diabetics come in the office and they're going to leave with completely different programs. So we're making recommendations for supplements, which are herbs, whole food, homeopath, and nutritional stem cells. We do use some of those, as well as guiding them on their foods. We create meal plans and also giving ideas, recipes, lists. We're really guiding you through this kind of a nutritional Google nightmare, to be honest. Everybody's trying to figure out, what do I eat? What is healthy? And everyone's on Dr. Google. So we really narrow that down and guide you step by step just for your body's needs.
Wow, that's incredible, Kristi. but it's amazing that it's holistic and that you do take the whole body into consideration and how it's functioning. But what is hormone imbalance, and what are some signs that our body is out of balance?
Yeah, good question. What is a hormone imbalance? A hormone imbalance can look different for each individual. It could be where somebody has more testosterone than another person, or another person has more estrogen and they're more estrogenic dominant than the other person. Fertility is a huge, problem right now. A lot of females are having a real hard time getting pregnant, which is a lot of what our practice has seen and sees. So that is also another characteristic of what a hormone imbalance looks like. So it looks different in everyone's body, right? We all have hormones, we all have a gut function, and different things are going on. And there's different biochemic, or there's different processes happening in the body. So it might look like this. For one person who's gone through menopause, they have, a lot of times they're dealing with estrogen dominance, where they have more estrogen in their body than they do progesterone. And we can actually see that through our labs that we do. We do a urine lab with Vibrant, and we can see all the estrogens, plural, all the testosterones, plural, all the progesterones, plural. And this is something that Western medicine doesn't exactly do. They usually will show you what estradiol is. Well, we're going to show you all the estrogens. So many women who are going through menopause and postmenopause gain weight.
Right.
They have hot flashes.
Right.
They don't sleep well, and they are very dry. They're dry every which way.
Right.
And so these are things that women are going through, and then us cycling women don't want to go through. So that estrogen dominance can definitely look like that. They can also have black sprouting hairs off of their chin, their lip, their nipples. They can grow extra hair that they don't want and they don't need. And this could also look like a hormone imbalance. Weight loss is a very big one on a hormone imbalance. Sleep issues is very indicative of hormone imbalance. The list really does go on. Hair falling out is indicative of a hormone balance. There's just so many symptoms.
Yeah. And how does the digestive system influence hormones?
Hugely. If your GI system, okay, your gastrointestinal system does not have a good microbiome, okay? It needs to have good bacteria because our guts naturally will have bad viruses, bad parasites, bad yeast, bad funguses, but it also will have good. So you've got this good and bad army in your microbiome. And what we need to make sure that happens is that the good army is nice and fed. So we have to feed them those prebiotics and probiotics so that they're growing the good army of those pathogens. When you have too much of the bad, this is where a lot of hormones are going to start to go out of balance, because what happens is that your GI system, a lot of hormones fire in your GI system. They'll fire off and they need to go and park somewhere. So hormones are being produced by the glands and then they need to park somewhere and then they park somewhere else. So they're ebbing and flowing in the body. And if you don't have a good liver that can filter out the estrogens, filter out all your hormones, it can kind of be a wrench in the liver and kind of cause the liver not to detox the right way. So there's three detox systems in the liver. There is phase 1 is where you're collecting all the toxins, right? All the toxins we're breathing, all the toxins we're eating. So it's going to collect all of that. And then phase 2, it's going to dump it.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I'm taking notes.
Good.
Go ahead. And phase 2, continue.
Yeah. And phase 3, put it in the toilet. Because that's how it works. We need to pee, poop, and sweat it out. So it's very important that we take care of our nutrition so that we're properly feeding our microbiome system. And we're also making sure that our detox pathways, not only in the liver, but your kidneys, your lungs, and your intestinal system is really eliminating all the heavy metals, the pathogens, the chemicals, all the things that we're faced with in our foods, our soil, our fragrances, our hair products, body products every day.
Yikes, Kristi.
I know. I'm sorry. I did not mean to overwhelm you. You do not need to live in a bubble.
So how do you start that cleansing of, how do you do that?
Right. I know. It feels so overwhelming. Everything I just said, someone's like, oh my God, I can't. But the truth is that that's the reality of what our bodies are up against and why our cells are dying and we're aging faster.
Right, yes.
These ladies and gentlemen are where the wrinkles and lines are coming in and the gray hairs are coming in much sooner. So, it's very important to make sure that we're, focusing in on our nutrition. So what's a simple way, or what's one simple thing that we can do is, as far as food goes, we can start to read our labels. And a label that we can start to read, no matter what it is, dressing, bread, crackers, anything that has a label with ingredients, start looking at oils. Oils are really important, and our body is partly made of fat, and it needs good fats. Right. So we need to feed it good fats. So recognizing these labels, soybean oil, very cheap, just a crappy, bad, unhealthy, toxic oil that the body does not break down well, which will affect your hormones. It's not going to balance it. It's going to unbalance it. So soybean oil is one I would get rid of.
Okay.
2, canola oil. Very toxic. Canola oil actually comes from a rapeseed, I believe. It's grown in Canada. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that is in Canada. They use it for pesticide spray. I remember in some research when I was in school, these were some things we were reading about. So canola oil is a very toxic oil. So, and it's very cheap. So a
Right.
lot of places and a lot of people will have
Or
canola oil.
restaurants, right?
Restaurants,
Yes.
soybean, cottonseed, and canola are very typical.
Yes.
So I highly recommend, when you're in a restaurant, you absolutely can ask them, are you using this oil? But, when you're in a grocery store, you can read your labels. Yeah. And so make sure you read. So those soybean, canola, and cottonseed. Cottonseed is not really around as much, but if anybody remembers Crisco,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Crisco replaced lard, which we'll get to. Lard is actually very supportive for hormones
Right.
and the cardiovascular system.
Yeah.
Yes.
And going back to just as a society, right? We are
Yeah.
depressed, we're overweight, diabetes is up. We're there's so much going on when it comes to like our physical health and also our emotional health.
Yes, and we have to go to work with all this.
Exactly. And then this all could be related to the gut and the balance of the hormones. And so how does the digestive system influence what are some common lifestyles or dietary habits that are disrupting both hormone and gut health today?
Good question. So one is sleep. Sleep is key. It is number one to make sure you're getting like 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Really important, uninterrupted. If you get up to go use the restroom, can you go right back to sleep or does it take you a minute to get back to sleep? So those are, things you want to be aware of and pay attention to. So getting enough sleep is key. 2, drink plenty of water. And when I say water, I don't mean like adding electrolyte powder or tea. You want to make sure you're drinking water by itself so that it can flush. I think some electrolyte powders can be very helpful. I use electrolyte powders, but you want to drink water, enough water, and you want to drink half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 120 pounds, you want to drink 60 ounces a day. And if you're working out, I'd probably add in 10 to 15 ounces. But you don't want to overdo it because you don't want your kidneys floating.
Right.
So you really want to find that balance. But that's a guide right there. So water is key. 2, reading your labels. 3, sugar, 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 sugar.
I love sugar, Kristi.
Girl, everybody's hooked on the sugar, okay?
Cookies, ice cream.
Oh, I know. And these places are so good at putting those addictive sugar ingredients in it. And it's true because we have such deep cravings. So when you are noticing, and anyone out there that gets those cravings where you're like, it's insatiable and I will not stop until I get in that car and drive to whatever it is, Golden Spoon, Crumble Cookie, See's Candy, whatever the ice cream place is, that you've got it bad. So one thing that you can really try and do, it's going to take some discipline. There is an herb out there called gymnema. I use it a ton. I personally take it. It's phenomenal. Our gymnema, I use through standard process. You can actually suck on the tablet. It'll get rid of the sugar craving instantly.
Is it the one that tastes? No, I
yes.
think that's stevia that tastes like sugar. No.
Oh no, stevia is an herb, but that's more food based. This is an herb supplement. So I'm glad you asked. Yes, this is an herb supplement. You can take gymnema. It will help to balance blood sugars and get rid of those sugar cravings.
Yes.
But if you do not want to take an herb or supplement, I really highly recommend you take inventory of how much protein you're eating and how much water you're drinking. Oftentimes when you're craving that sugar, go drink a glass of water. You are really just thirsty and dehydrated. So just start there, get some water, and then see do I really need it or want it? Yes. And if you do, try and eat some protein first and then see if you really want it, or some almonds or some cashews, something like that.
Yes.
Before you get to that, that's going to help lessen the cravings every day.
Yes. I've been trying to do that in the mornings. I usually wanted something sweet. And now I'm like, no, it has to be protein. So willpower too, right?
Yes, willpower. Good for you. That's good.
Trying to make a change. And sugar, I think I was reading an article. It's like poison to us, right? Because our body is really not made for sugar, to process sugar. And it's related. I remember when I was in school, I read a study that they were studying monkeys, and one was like regular sugar-based nutrition.
Yeah.
And the other one was restricted. And the aging, even in monkeys, the aging was better for those who had sugar restrictions and those who,
Yeah.
those who didn't. And so with what you started, right? That we're aging faster.
Exactly. We're aging faster than our
Yes.
actual age. We
Yes.
are 20, but we're actually 30. We are 40, but we're actually 55.
Mhm.
1 teaspoon of sugar that hits your tongue, your organs swell instantly.
Yikes.
That's how powerful sugar is. And many of us, especially in this country, is addicted to the sugar.
Yeah.
Every Starbucks, they're pumping so much sugar into these fun coffee drinks. And they've got you hooked, not only in the points,
Yes.
but in their foods. So yeah, I'm not surprised about the monkeys.
Yes. And so what roles so then the microbiome play in estrogen or cortisol regulation?
Uh, what does the microbiome
Yes.
play?
How does it impact them?
Okay, how does it impact? So having a good, healthy gut system, if you are bloated, meaning like you almost feel pregnant without a baby in there, where your abdomen just is real protruding, or maybe you feel like you have like a knot in your upper stomach, you're just very uncomfortable, that's bloating. And that can impact your cortisol levels. Now, your cortisol is a steroid hormone produced by the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys. So these little glands, and oh my gosh, they power you through the day. They put you to sleep at night. They wake you up in the morning. They're very important. They're also part of your cycle in getting pregnant, your brain power. So your cortisol is being stimulated and produced based on inflammation, allergies, gut function not working properly. So if you are chronically having inflammation and bloating and not a good digestion and good bowel movement routine every day, you're producing cortisol every day, and now you're storing it in the belly and most likely the arms. So now you're dealing with that kind of fat that's hard to get rid of. So we can get rid of it, but it takes time.
Yes. And it's interesting, right? I'm a therapist, so I deal with mental health issues. And so cortisol levels, right? Sometimes it can make you be irritable, can affect your mood, anxiety, like all these issues. So whatever is happening in the body, it's also affecting the mind.
100%. Your head is not floating above your shoulders.
There's a connection.
That's right. There's very much a connection, and there's actually a connection of the gut and the brain. There's a tube. So it is imperative to have good bacteria strains feeding both gut and brain tube. Otherwise, you start to feel foggy brained. You don't sleep well. You're irritable. If you're still cycling, your periods are off. If you're going through menopause, the symptoms are out of control. Your sex drive goes. So it's your gut function really is, to be honest, your number one brain.
Yeah.
I think upstairs is second. Having that gut function.
We often talk about it. I mean, at least I do in the mental health world, how yes, this is your brain, and it's also affects your mind and your body and your emotions and how you connect with others, right? It's like the foundation.
It's huge.
Yes.
It's huge. If you don't feel good, you're not going to act good.
Exactly. Yes.
And this is what happens in relationships, and it happens with kids too.
Yeah.
Kids will come in to see us, and often sometimes the parents are like, wow, they have ADD and I can't control them, or they have behavioral issues. And most of the problem is they're not being properly fed. There's not enough protein, there's not enough carbs, there's not enough, or sometimes there's too much carbs or sugar. And these diagnoses are being made and these meds are being prescribed. And really, we're missing a whole nutrition boat over here, and their body is agitated. So it's causing their behaviors to be erratic. It's the same thing with adults. We're like adult kids that need to be fed right.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, and it can look like impulsivity, right? Lack of attention in kids, and the same irritability, having outburst and tantrums, and parents often, we miss that part of the importance of the nutrition, what you're putting into your body, and how that's affecting your brain and how you
exactly
perceive the world and.
Yeah, nutrition somewhere along the line over the years has taken a giant side seat. Like it's not being included in the conversations with the doctors, the nurses.
Yes.
So,
Well, why do you think that is?
I mean, if you're asking me,
Yes.
I personally feel it has a lot to do with money. Call it conspiracy theory or not, but it has a lot to do with money. The pharmaceutical industry is very much fed through money, and they can really dominate and take over. And America and New Zealand are the only two countries where we market to people on the TV. Other countries do not let them. So here, every commercial is about a pharmaceutical. So I feel that nutrition has taken a back seat because perhaps they feel there's not enough money in nutrition. And I feel that profits over people. That's what happens. So, it kind of goes into a much bigger conversation.
Yes.
But as far as, the health field, I really do. It's profits over people. They are marketing to us on the constant. It's commercial after commercial, whether you're watching YouTube, Netflix, or whatever it is.
I'm getting lots of commercials about weight loss.
Yes, we are all just consumers that they are advertising to. So let's advertise things that are going to help the people for, all people.
And it comes to like change. It's like a lifestyle, right? You're changing a lifestyle, which might be a little hard or may feel like overwhelming.
Definitely.
So what do you tell people to encourage them to change? I mean, they come to you because they want to, right?
Yes,
but to be consistent and
because even though somebody comes to me, they're like all excited and they get started, I still have to be a cheerleader and keep them going and keep them motivated, right? Because going through the process, it can take some time. Some people get better quicker than others, and some people it takes time because it's been 20 years that they've been dealing with something. So what do I tell them? I say, sit back, buckle up, relax, and we're going to give you some great recipes. We're going to tell you exactly what to do along the way. We have a brand new meal planning program service that we're actually just about to launch beginning of August, where we are now laying out exactly what to do. And I think, with today, everybody's so busy. We have two working people in the household now. It's typically that way. So everything gets kind of on the back burner, right? We have just chicken nuggets, just throw them in the microwave or, microwavable foods. So we really try and create an easy solution for them by giving them and handing them. This is exactly what you need to buy. This is exactly the recipe you're going to make. And we're going to plan it for the week. And then we're checking in with them once a week. So, and I think along the way, they're being motivated because once we start working, they're taking their herbs, their supplements, they start to change their diet. In the beginning, you think, how am I going to get over this sugar addiction? It's too hard. But the thing is as we're working, I'm sneaking in some good herbs to change the biochemistry and the microbiome so that the brain and the gut stop craving it and wanting it so much. And then you start, sneaking in or not sneaking in, eating the better foods. And it's a balance. This is not like right away, but it's little by little, and that builds up over time. So, those are my tricks up my sleeve.
Okay. And what are some go-to foods or practices that you recommend to support both the hormone, the gut and hormone balance?
Yeah. Great question. Depending if you can handle certain foods or not. So sauerkraut is a phenomenal food. I love it. I drink the juice from the sauerkraut. Some people might think I'm nuts, but it's so delicious. And I love that pickly type taste, but there's a fermentation to it. So it does feed good gut bugs, right? It's like a prebiotic in that sense. So we're going to fill the good army in the belly, which is good. That's what you want. So sauerkraut can be great. Kimchi can be great. Your yogurts can be good, but just know that when you're taking probiotics or eating yogurt, the yogurt's probiotic strains are not like super strong. So, and they die usually like that day. So they're still good for you. But my favorite yogurt, which they don't sell in any store, but we do have like a raw milk yogurt recipe. There's a shout out to Fermentation Farm. They are in Costa Mesa. I don't know if you know them.
I've heard.
They are the best. They used to make a raw milk yogurt. Now they don't. They just do a coconut milk yogurt. But if you are in Orange County, head over to Fermentation Farm because their entire shop is fermented things. And like kombucha is also fermented. That's that fizzy drink. But you want to make sure that when you're drinking kombucha, read the label. If it says cane sugar in the label, I do not recommend it. So I think it's, what's the original? It's KTS. I can't think of the label, but it's something like that. But yeah, kombucha can be helpful.
Okay.
Yogurts can be helpful. Make sure that the yogurt has less than like 8 grams of sugar in it.
Oh, okay.
That's also key.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what's one myth that maybe about hormones that maybe drives you crazy?
That's a good question. What drives me crazy? Oh, it drives me crazy that that's their age. Age decides how their symptoms. That drives me crazy. For a few different reasons. For example, fertility. Women trying to get pregnant. When you're 35, the Western medical community deems you as a geriatric.
Yeah, too old.
Too old and geriatric, and now you are high risk. So, and I don't think that's right. I think that are there some high risk women? Sure, but to deem it based on their age. Also, when going through menopause, women typically are between like 50 and 60 in there. It's just chalked up, well, it's just stress or it's just your age. And listen, Luisa, I am here to tell you it is not just your age because I have plenty of women going through menopause. We have reversed a lot of those symptoms. They've lost weight. Their hair is thicker. It's growing back. It is a lot to do with lifestyle, nutrition, and your stress. Stress is a part of it. I'll give them that. But it's a matter of how your body adapts and deals with the stress.
And so what if I'm not there in my 50s yet?
Yeah.
What could we do to prevent or age better?
Yes, great
Get ready
question.
for that.
Great question. Well, one thing you can do if anyone has access to red light therapy, near infrared light therapy, that is a therapy that we have in our practice. They're fantastic.
The one that's like for aging,
yes, so you can do it on.
You know the one.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly. Yes. However, we have the panels that are like almost 7 feet tall that you just stand in front of, so it gets everything. But basically, they penetrate 10 centimeters to the cell, and it gets your collagen to overturn rapidly. So it increases healing. So that's one. But if you don't have access to that, again, the sleep is key. 2, drinking lots of water. 3, make sure you have enough protein in your diet and eat the protein first on the plate. So for example, if you have chicken, potatoes, and broccoli, this is an example, start eating your chicken first, make your way through half of that with your vegetables, then start eating the potatoes. You want to create a solid plate, a foundation for that potato to turn into sugar to fall onto. And that's going to be very helpful for your blood sugars and the aging process. Number 3 or 4, I don't remember where I'm at in my list, but is stress management. And I know we hear it and it's so the same thing over and over. But what I can tell you is doing these things and trying to let things roll off, pick your battles and what you're going to react to. Just really try and be like, is it worth it to get this upset over this? Try and pick your battles because that stress induces cell die-off big time. So, yeah. And of course, come see us. Okay.
Yes. Where can they find you?
Yes. They can find us at www.hncnewport.com or find us on Instagram, HNC_Newport.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kristi, for all this knowledge. Now I'm gonna have to schedule an appointment with you.
Thank you for having me. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming, everybody.
No, lots of good information, and it's all helpful, right? To keep our mind and our bodies in shape and in shape and in the best and the best we can.
Yeah, when you act right, you are your best.
Yes.
Or when you feel right, you act your best.
Exactly. Well, thanks for tuning into Session and Secrets. And remember, change starts from the inside out.